All right, Samboners. Time to fire up another weekend, shall we? 15 days. Are you kidding me? 15 days without Eagles football. Coming fresh off a bye week. We're heading to Kansas City. Appreciate everybody tuning into the Samboner Show. Big episode on our hands here, folks. On the back end of this episode, we're going to bring in the face of the Philadelphia fan base, the one, the only, the mighty EROCK is going to join the show. Looking forward to chopping it up with EROCK. We're going to fire up the weekend here like we do here in the Samboner Hood. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. My God, look at like we're going to have an unbelievable weekend here, too. We're going to tee it up tomorrow with some Samboners looking like 65, 68 and sunny. Are you kidding me? God, you just gotta love it. You gotta love it. Again, looking forward to bringing EROCK on here on the back end of this episode. We're going to fire up the weekend. A rematch for the Kansas City. Are you kidding me? Should we just fast forward, or should we just make this week's game the Super Bowl rematch? But now we're going to play the season out, see how it shakes out. Look, there's a ton of parity in the NFL. That said, there's 4 or 5 elite teams, and then there's a big bunch behind. But could this be the year the Cleveland Browns or the Detroit Lions or the Miami Dolphins bust through and steal the show? Look out for those Houston Texans, too. Holy shit, CJ Stroud, are you kidding me? Look, so it's too early to say, but we got the elite of the elite matchup here on Monday Night Football. We're going to dive into that later. We're going to get EROCK's take. Again, beautiful, beautiful time to be a Samboner. We're smack dab in the middle of hot roast pork month. I almost pulled an audible, but you know what? It's been 2 years since we celebrated hot roast pork month. An absolute Philadelphia staple through and through. You got the hoagies, you got the cheesesteaks, and you got the hot roast pork. And sure, there's the tomato pies and the Philly soft pretzels. And it looks like we're going to probably just roll out another wild card season here in December and just continue to get after it. Be merry. Get out there, drop the Sambone. You just got to love it. And you love to see the debuts flying in. Kelly making her debut. A little chicken cheesesteak action. Dude, yesterday, shout out to Chris Barnes, man. Just a true believer in the Samboners, the Samboner Show. Always knocking on our door. Look, we hit the Lucky's last chance a couple times in Burger Month. I had that peanut butter and jelly burger. Grant and I posted up inside. I think we also, again, had the peanut butter and jelly burger. That dude is slinging unbelievable burgers. He's been put up against the best in the country. You saw him on the Today Show or the whatever it was. Like Michael Strahan was Samboning his burgers. So yesterday I decided to go on the outskirts of Manayunk into Roxborough, another section of Philadelphia, not Roxborough, PA or Manayunk, PA. Like, who gives a shit, right? I'm no map. But at the same time, I have some fond memories of growing up in Roxborough, playing golf for Archbishop Wood, Roman Catholic, Walnut Lane. You go over to Delisandro's, maybe, hit up Pudges, or not Pudges, Chubby's at the same time. But, yesterday we found a new joint, thanks to Chris Barnes, proud owner of the Lucky's Last Chance in Manayunk. Also started this place called the Lucky's Trading Company, and they have like this collaboration with a couple other different restaurants, Ida's, this New Haven style pizza, and then you got the Sunshine Sandwich Shop is where I Samboned. The little hot roast pork action, the broccoli rabe, the sharp prove melted throughout, but the kicker, like the thing that put it over the edge was this long hot pesto sauce. Like, I'm not a big fan of like the garlic spread on a cheesesteak, but this long hot pesto action, let me just tell you, like, I love when people are slinging the long hot whiz. I think the Rook does that, Manny. Shout out to our good friend, the Soul Man, near and dear friend of the Samboners. And I couldn't stop by there the other day to say hello. But if you're listening, Soul Man, keep doing what you're doing, man. Nothing but love to your expertise. But yeah, we're firing up early. We're firing up often. Shout out to our last location episode, the All Things Doylestown. Appreciate all the love and support there. Lots of cool like clips coming out of that from just great local joints like Altamati's, Lucatelli's, Mantresca's, et cetera, et cetera. And then we just fired up another episode, just a little weekend shakedown with Mike Gill Colin Thompson talking all things Birds, Phils, Sixers, Flyers, Eagles, Penn State, blah, blah, blah. It's nothing but a ton of fun, nothing but a ton of fun. And like I said, we got EROCK coming here on the back end of another episode of the Samboner Show. We're firing up the weekend. Dude, got down to the Sixers game. And I'm going to get into this with EROCK a little bit because I still continue to. It amazes me just like what's going on down in South Philadelphia anymore. That sports complex in general is just absolute pandemonium. There's a reason they call it Bedlam at the Bank, but like when you got a soccer game over here, another football game over here, a baseball game over here, a basketball game, like it doesn't matter. All it takes is one fucking sporting event, and that place is just an absolute shit show. It really is. Like, we got down there early. I left at like 4:45 from my house. Actually, we didn't get there at about 6:10. Like, traffic anymore is god awful. Like, yeah, there's something to be said about the pandemic. No, we don't want that to happen ever again. But the traffic is just absolutely dismal anymore. It took me an hour and 20 fucking minutes to get to Wells Fargo for a Sixers Pacers game on a Tuesday night. We go in and we're absolutely blinded by the court. The court's bright red. I couldn't even see. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't that bad. I love some of the memes, like the Seinfeld memes. No, that was pretty cool, right? I think at the end of the day, it was cool for the kids. Like, that's why we went down there. My oldest son was like, oh, it's an in-tournament game. They're painting the court. And like, as soon as he was geeked up about that, I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go check it out, right? It's something different. It's something unique. At the end of the day, it's a money grab, really. I mean, that's all it is. And maybe it helps kind of spruce up that NBA brand, especially like this early in the regular season, because the regular season for NBA, the regular season for the NHL, honest to God, it's all preseason, really. They should just figure out a way to maybe do some more creative stuff like this to kind of keep it entertaining, right? Because there's a reason to play. There's a reason to score points. You saw it firsthand in the first in-tournament game. Joel Embiid got the ball with like 8 or 9 seconds to go and had the urgency to score a couple extra points. That said, the point spread was 9.5. And at the time, the Sixers were up 9. And Pete's calling for the ball. I'm like, dude, you won the game. Chill out. Well, he fired up a 3. Not only did they get the cover, but they added 3 points to their points for total. In the end, if it comes down to some sort of tiebreaker to get into the championship game, which is an extra game, I just found out, that means nothing again. Well, look, you still want to compete. You still want to get there. And if that 3 points was the decider, you'll look back on that and say, well, fuck you to everybody that bet against the Sixers plus 9.5 because they got the cover, they got the extra points, and they're moving on to the championship. And that might make absolutely no sense. But, we're out here. We're grinding, man. And it's crazy to see, like, how far that gambling scene has come, man. Like, I cut my teeth gambling at a young age, and I don't really get into it as much as I used to. It's a slippery slope, but at the same time, it's amazing how convenient these applications and these service providers like BetParks, FanDuel, DraftKings, I don't know, side bets. And now there's a fucking million of them, man. You can get behind whichever one you want, and they're throwing free money at you. But the in-game shit is like, is where it really, I think, just, brings like that addictive personality out of you because you're just sitting there, you're watching a game and your bet went to shit where you're like, all right, well, let's, at least you can continue to bet the game, or you can maybe bet like a player to score, like the anytime TD parlays. That's where I think they are the most fun to bet. You throw $5 on like 10 guys to score and you get it for like $1,000, $2,000. But, the gambling scene continues to evolve. It's crazy. Like, it almost at the point made, fantasy football dead. Like, I may be speaking for myself. I've been doing fantasy football for too long, honestly. I'm in the Turk's Head League out in Westchester, thanks to my cousin Jason McKenzie, who started that thing back when I was 16 years old, the time where he was shipping out mailers on Fridays. I've talked about that in the past. Like, you just don't get out of that league. It's your family, that's your old friends. And then I'm in another league, the Bucks County League, the Degenerate Gambling League. Friends of mine from high school and just like growing up in Bucks County, Southampton, like we started that league. Shit, I think same time I was probably also like 16 or 17. So I've been in the same 2 leagues for 25 plus years. But like for me, it's just not as fun as like getting on FanDuel and having that real time engagement. Like Tuesday, you got to get on, you got to add players. Like I don't have the memory or the mindset to even begin to think about transactions on my fantasy football team come Tuesday. But again, that's just me. That's either here nor there. It's still fun. The camaraderie's there. Don't send me any trade requests because I'm likely not going to see them. I'm just not into it as much as I was. But anyway, we're firing up the weekend. All good things are happening here at the Samboner Show. We're coming off an unbelievable tailgate Dallas week. One last shout out and thanks to everybody who contributed, everybody who supported. If I left you out, I do apologize. I was telling some stories about that day, and the one story that I did leave out, shout out to our good friend Dan Brickner, Jason Barnes, and their buddy. I forget their buddy's name. He's got an unbelievable garage with a fire pit, lots of bourbon. They were doing wing reviews the one day. I suck at names. God damn it. My bad. But shout out to Barnes and Brickner and those guys for bringing a gigantic cooler of ice. And the fact that they carried that cooler of ice a good mile and a half, I am surprised that they came with their arms still intact, because I picked it up and it was a complete burn. An absolute burn. So kudos to, again, everybody who just chipped in, contributed. We're moving on. We needed that bye week just as much as the Eagles did, and I'm feeling good. Hopefully everybody got their batteries charged. Everybody's gearing up for an unbelievable just weekend. And then on top of that, we got Thanksgiving week following the debacle this weekend. Week 11 of the NFL. Holy shit, the time is absolutely flying. My God, it's flying. The leaves are still falling. My grass is still growing. Oh, God. Holy shit balls. So with that said, I'm going to roll out some picks, and then we're going to bring on EROCK, the mighty EROCK. Games of the week here. Steelers, Browns, both 6-3. Bengals, Ravens. Beautiful East Coast football. Eagles, Chiefs, two top teams in the league. As for my picks of the week, we're going to go with the Bears plus 7.5. We're going to go Panthers plus 7.5. You mean to tell me that the Dallas Cowboys were just coming off a game where they were playing the New York Giants and they were 17.5 point favorites, and now they're playing a team who is 1-8 and they're only 10.5 point favorites? No. That is a sucker bet. I'm telling you right now, that is an absolute sucker bet. And at the same time, who in the fucking right mind wants to bet the Dallas Cowboys? Not I. I would never bet the Dallas Cowboys. As a matter of fact, I've been doing fantasy football for 25 years, and I have never owned a Dallas Cowboy. There is no goddamn way I would ever stomach having a Dallas Cowboy in my roster, let alone even bet the Dallas Cowboys. So we're going the Panthers plus 10.5. And last but not least, we're going to go Jets plus 7 against the Buffalo Bills. Those teams are 5-4, 4-5. They're a toss-up at the end of the day, so I actually see that being a tight matchup. So we'll go Jets plus 7.5. With that said, appreciate everybody tuning in. Hope everybody enjoys our little interview chop up with the mighty EROCK, a huge ambassador for the Philadelphia Eagles. Nothing but a ton of respect for EROCK. Let's bring them in, baby. Let's bring them in. All right, we got him, Samboners. We got him. Mr. Emmanuel, Mr. EROCK, or should we say the mighty EROCK. What is up, my brother?
No, the mighty part always makes me smile. Those are for the old school fans right there. But hey, listen, I appreciate you having me on. We got a big week coming up against the Kansas City Chiefs, Monday Night Football, national audience, and of course, the replay of the Super Bowl. But I'm sure we'll get into all that.
We're all going to get into that, buddy. First and foremost, man, nothing but a ton of respect for you, your content, your passion, your ambassadorship for the Philadelphia Eagles, and just the city alone is bar none some of the best out there, man. Continue to do what you're doing. I want to get into your story in a second, but, you and I had an opportunity to finally put a face with the name.
Finally.
It's been, 12, 13 days now. Look, dude, going 15 days without Philadelphia Eagles football is tough. But before we dive into that, I want to just kind of take a step back and talk about the day we met. The Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys, South Philadelphia, 425, absolute pandemonium. Have you ever seen a scene that crowded? Again, you're down there, you're in the thick of it. You're one of those guys that get down there at 5 o'clock in the morning. But dude, is there something going on that I'm not aware of? That scene on Sunday against the Cowboys was something I've never witnessed before in my life.
Well, to answer your question, yes, I have seen it before, but it was very refreshing to have it done for a Dallas Cowboys game. Let's face it. You and I are from a different generation. We remember the big Cowboys-Eagles rivalries when the Cowboys were hot and they were winning Super Bowls, and the Cowboys fans were chirping in your ears about how many rings have you won, and what's your trophy case look like, so on and so forth. And, you listen to a lot of sports talk radio going into that week, and it was a lot of, the Cowboys rivalry isn't what it's not a big deal. It's not a thing. It's kind of, we've moved past it. And I completely understand it because for the longest time, the Cowboys haven't been relevant. But they're relevant, and they're coming after the crown, and they're our top, I would say, rival amongst not only the division, but the conference to reach the Super Bowl. So to see that kind of crowd when you and I met there, and to see it as crowded and the Eagles fans as hyped up as they were was refreshing.
Yeah.
To then start to bring that Eagles Cowboys rivalry back to the level that it should be.
But what other elements do we add into the mix? Like, is it a generational thing? Because there was clearly a ton of people down there that were not going into the game, which is not a bad thing, right?
No.
People like to enjoy the game at Xfinity Live or head over to the Palladium or head back into their like suburban areas at their local bar. But like for a good 3-4 hours during that day, we're all congregating down there on the South Philly pavement, dude. And, when someone told me at one point, like, they're shutting down the Wells Fargo lot at 10:15 a.m. I'm like, 10:15 a.m.? Dude, it was absolute craziness trying to just coordinate. That's something that I just, for some reason, man, I can't do that every single Sunday, trying to, coordinate a delivery of 300 at some odd rolls and the steak meat and the strombolis. But like a guy like yourself, dude, you're in there doing it day in, day out, Sunday in, Sunday out. What drives you to get down there so early? Like, talk about your passion behind the tailgate scene.
Well, I've been going to Eagles games. Excuse me, pardon me. I'm just getting over. In fact, I got sick at the Dallas game, and I'm still getting over it. I don't know what I caught down there. It was probably from the Cowboys fans, but that's neither here nor there. This is just. I don't know any other way to explain it. My family and I have been tailgating since the days of Veterans Stadium. We have a certain process that we go through every Sunday. I'm on scout team, which means that I got to be down there at the buck crack of dawn, pretty much getting to the front of the line so I can reserve the parking spots when the lots open up. I'm followed by my brother with the tailgate trailer. So it's an entire tradition. We're just programmed that way. That's why I jumped on social media, and I like to kind of listen. There's a lot of content creators out there. My kind of claim to fame was I was the guy that was there, right? So I was the guy who brought the parking lot or the tailgates and the parking lots to social media and kind of wanted to share this tailgate call because that wasn't a thing. Like you would see it on NFL films, you would see it on NFL specials, but I wanted to kind of open up and say, no, everybody should be down here. Everybody should see this. Everybody should experience this. This is how we live. This is every Sunday for us. Come enjoy. It doesn't matter if you have a ticket to the game or you don't. Go to Xfinity Live. Watch it in the parking lot. I don't care, but be down here, be tailgating, be part of the community. And so growing up, that was just it's another Sunday. I know it's wild to say that, but it's what I
so like, look, let's take a look. Like, let's look back at, those years, right? The Buddy Ball years, moving right into the Dougie P years, the Andy Reid years, and now this Nick Sirianni era. Like, what has changed culturally? And then, I guess even more so, what have you seen from kind of like your early days as a kid versus now, where it's like it's become almost a shit show down there. Like, I just left the Sixers game on Tuesday, and just first 18,000 fans, let alone 6,500,000 fans. I'm still at a gridlock trying to get out of the fucking Wells Fargo parking lot.
Yeah, shit show. That's partially my fault. That's partially my fault I think it's really just the explosion of social media. I mean, now you have, I guess the 4th and John tailgate when I was responsible for it was the first big like social media get up. And now there's competing tailgates. Like there's tailgates all over the place with their own DJs trying to get people in, serving food, serving drinks, serving beer. And it's phenomenal. Even though I don't throw those big tailgates anymore, I still walk the lots and I'm still like, wow, look at it, how far it's come. Because it wasn't always like that.
No.
It wasn't always like, if you knew, you knew. If you didn't, you simply didn't. And it was like tailgate culture. Like we had our own thing and nobody knew about it unless you were there and it was ours. And then, social media happened. And I think listen, Eagles games now are the place to see and be seen. It's a place for community. It's a place for enjoyment and to make memories and share your experience with the world. And I still walk the lots, and I'm kind of proud how far it's
No,
come.
yeah, man.
Even though it is a shit show, and it is. That's an accurate description.
So talk to us about what it's like being a public figure and how have you been able to manage your new lifestyle? Because at the end of the day, like you said, I'm glad you hit on that. Like social media has changed everything, right? Because you're still the same EROCK, you're still doing the same thing. You're going to root your Eagles on just like you did 30 years ago. But now everything is kind of blown into proportion, and you're getting those looks. We're all getting them, which is nutty. But at the end of the day, like I really appreciate your ambassadorship towards the Eagles. And the fact that you stopped by that Sunday was awesome. But hey, we're moving to the next thing, because this social media presence of yours has led you into new avenues to support the Eagles. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, it always weird to hear that term, public figure. I'm just an Eagles fan with an iPhone. This is not to burst anybody's bubbles. When I say it's another Sunday, it's another Sunday. I live for it, but it's another Sunday. I never considered myself an ambassador or a public figure. I started social media back in 2007, which is a long time ago, back when YouTube was first popping off, and social media for Philadelphia Eagles was me and four other dudes on YouTube talking Eagles. That was it. You had me, four other dudes. That's who you got to pick from. And then I jumped on Twitter at the right time. Instagram has been going real well for me. And
have you always had this love for acting? Sorry to cut you off, but have you always had this love for acting? Like, are we going to see you in the next like Invincible or Silver Linings Playbook down the road here, EROCK?
I'm a big fan of just letting things happen organically. My social media happened organically. I didn't force it. I didn't try to be a look at me guy. I didn't. Although in social media, I guess we're all sorts of look at me and fighting for views and fighting for clicks and fighting for likes and shares and all that. But I never wanted it to be my goal. I'm a business major, right? I'm a marketing major. So the first day of marketing school, what do they teach you? They teach you about a mission statement. What's your goal? What's your purpose? And my goal was to bring Eagles fans as close to their team as I know they want to be and as fortunate enough as I am. That was it. Just, hey, follow along. This is a day in a life. This is the authentic Philadelphia fan experience from sun up to sundown, and I'm throwing it out there. Crack a couple jokes on the way, maybe have a couple laughs, have a little bit of fun. But this is a Sunday for me, and I people have asked me all the time, like, how do I do it? How do I start a blog? How do I start a podcast? How do I start a YouTube channel? How do I start a social media channel? And I always say, just keep it organic, be yourself. Don't force things. When you want to be creative, when you inspired, do it. Authenticity is currency in this digital market that we're in.
100%.
So the more authentic you can be, and listen, this is a Philadelphia market that sees right through bullshit, phoniness, and all that, right? So they can call out a fraud. They know what they're looking at. So if you try to fake it, or you try to pretend, or you're not authentic, you will get called out on that shit. I'm just fortunate enough that what I did early on enough resonated with enough people, and we shared enough laughs, and I brought enough people together that I guess I'm in a position where ambassador. It's so weird to hear ambassador too. Although I have a great relationship with the team. I'm one of those guys on social media that has a wonderful relationship with the team. So I guess, and it's high praise, and I thank you for it. It's always a little weird to hear out.
Well, here in the Samboners, we call you a Sambassador, and I
Nice.
share the same, or we share the same sentiments, man. A group of my buddies started this thing before the pandemic, but when the pandemic hit, our family and friends saw how much fun we were having and how just genuine and authentic we were. Just kind of reviewing these places and just having fun with it. Like no edits, man, no frills, no rules. Like we were just fucking going out there and doing our thing. And then it got to the point where like, you might want to push this out there. And we were like, me go on the internet?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It was daunting, but the message that we were trying to push was really just to kind of bring Philly together, bring them on the map, and show that brotherly love, if you will. Share some of or share one of your finest tailgate memories.
The peak EROCK tailgate was the post Super Bowl tailgate. it was a culmination of all our hopes, dreams, and it was our victory lap. Not that Broad Street after and the parade wasn't our victory lap, but we had a tailgate where we were the champions. We were the focal point of the NFL world. And damn it, through all the blood, sweat, and tears, sitting in that stadium through the heat, the cold, the snow, the rain, anything you can imagine, it was our time to shine. And it culminated in there's a giant Super Bowl or super fan named License Plate Guy.
Yeah.
Who goes to every away game, and he would wear this, and this is before I knew him. He would wear this Giants in the front and then Eagles in the back, and it had a 0 on it, and it said Super Bowls on top, because that was the running joke, right? How often did you hear that? How many Super Bowls you got? 0. I get it. And we raised $10,000 for Tom Coughlin's charity called the J Foundation, and Eagles president Don Smolinski, who I'm still friends with and we're still in contact with. We raised $10,000. The Eagles put in the last $500, and then we brought it to the tailgate and we burned it in front of 400 people. That was the peak. I made a little, 90-second speech, as I tend to do. I like to speak publicly, and then Don Smolinski, God bless him. He got his fireman jacket on. We lubed that thing up with the what's the gel that you use for cooking to keep stuff warm? You know what I'm talking about. You light it at the bottom and it keeps the food hot.
Oh yeah, like wax.
Yeah, it's like a wax thing. We lubed that thing up, went up in flames. So yeah. No, that was peak EROCK. That was my finest moment as a throwing a tailgate as an
Dude,
Eagles
that's
fan.
too funny, man. All right, let's talk a little birds, man. Let's give us
Yes,
your
sir.
take. Give us your take on the first half of the year. Your thoughts, outside looking in. You're a true fan, true believer. We may all be homers at the end of the day, but talk to us a little bit about what you see in the first half of the year. We'll talk a little bit about the game, and then we'll talk a little bit about the end of the year. But give us your take after week 10.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the bye week was much needed. I never been so excited for a bye week in my life. I felt like emotionally and mentally kind of drained, as I think we all do a little bit watching this season, because nothing's been easy. So I welcome the bye week with open arms. And normally a football season for me goes like this. Oh, it's week 1. Oh, how much fun we're going to have. This is going to last forever. We've got 17 weeks of regularly scheduled football, 18 weeks, including the bye, not including postseason. This is going to last forever. And then you blink and it's week 10. And then you blink again and it's the postseason. And you blink again and it's over. It just goes by incredibly fast, too fast, and it's gone too soon. This bye week was like, my God, thank God it's the bye week. Oh, my God. And we've only played 9 games. There's more to go. Holy mackerel. I need a break. Because that's the way it's felt like going throughout this season. What I like about the season is that they're finding different ways to win football games. I felt like last year, the MO of the Eagles was they get out to a hot start, they get a lead. Third, fourth quarter, sometimes gets a little dicey because they take their foot off the gas, and it's a little closer than it should be. But nevertheless, they were stomping teams out. This team this year is figuring out ways to win, whether it be bleeding the clock out with a 9-minute drive like against the Rams, or whether it be finding a way to come back in an opposing stadium like against Washington, whether it be just a knuckle bang and drag out fight against the Cowboys, whether it be any of that. Really, they're finding different ways to win, and they're proving to not only the NFL world, but to themselves that no matter what situation they're in, they are going to find a way to win this game, unless it's the Jets, which let's not bring that one up. But they're finding different ways to win. So I think this team's proving to themselves that it's been a rocky road, but even despite the injuries and despite Jalen Hurts playing on a bad knee, and despite a couple new coordinators there, they're figuring it out.
Yeah.
And it's so much better to be figuring it out at 8-1 rather than
you got places that are extremely hard to play, right? New Orleans is a tough place to play. We got Arrowhead, Monday Night Football, tough place to play. But would you say Lincoln Financial Field ranks up there as likely one of the toughest stadiums to play? I mean, I don't want to use that 12th man, quote unquote 12th man, but like there's something about that fucking Philly toughness that just
Yeah.
gets the whole crowd energized. Doesn't matter how many beers you drink that day. We're
Yeah.
fired up. We're going to be standing the entire game. And I'm just, like Citizens Bank Park in a way during that Phillies run, man. Like that place was absolutely electric. You just talk about, and you've had your fair share of traveling with Philly soft, or not Philly soft pretzels, Philly sports trips. But
We know what
like,
you meant.
what have you witnessed, and are you seeing that the Link is becoming one of those places?
Yeah, having grown up going to Veterans Stadium and having gone to all but 5 games at the Link, I started traveling maybe like 7 years ago, outside of my comfort zone, outside of Lincoln Financial Field. And I assumed, due to my naiveness, that all NFL cities were like this. Just because you get so used to the way Philly does things, you would automatically assume it's like that in Baltimore, in New York, anywhere. And what you come to find out, you have to believe me on this one, because I always thought that when they raised a Super Bowl trophy or an NBA trophy or the Stanley Cup, no matter where they were, they always thanked the fans and said, this is for the best fans in the NHL, the NFL, the NBA, whatever it might be. And so there was always like, hey, Eagles fans, we're the most passionate, knowledgeable, crazy fans in the end. I always thought that was kind of fluffing us up. It's not.
Right.
Because I've been to other places, and it's not the same. I've been to MetLife for Giants games, and it's not the same as it is in Philadelphia. I've been to Gillette. I've been to the Northeast cities that you would think kind of share a kindred spirit with Philadelphia, and we beat them as far as passion, as far as energy, as far as emotion in the stands. We beat them. I have yet to visit an NFL stadium that rivals Lincoln Financial Field on an Eagles Sunday. Now, I'm not traveling out to Kansas City. I heard that's a tough place to play. I've never been to Seattle. I heard that's a tough place to play. But we're just talking about noise. When you go against Philly and the Philly fans, it's more than noise. It's palpable. You can feel it. I mean, there's something in the air. There's an electricity. And yet, listen, you'll hear other Eagles players. You'll hear this time and time again, and you'll heard it before, and you'll hear it in the future, that when Eagles players leave and they sign with other teams, playing in front of those fans just isn't the same. It's just not. And that's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, no, spot on, man. Couldn't agree any further. Yeah, you'd have to say, Buffalo can replicate it in a way. I'll give New England, even though I'm not a Patriots guy, I hate the Red Sox, but New England seems to have a lot of passion behind their tailgate scene and their fan base. But, as we sit here and finally, get through 15 days without Eagles football, Monday night's going to be an exciting time. Talk to me. What's your appreciation level for Andy Reid? What's your appreciation level for the Kelsey brothers? Right, they put up with a lot of this social media hoopla. And then lastly, like at the end of the day, if you could walk away with one Eagles coach for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Well, the answer to last question first. Andy Reid.
All right.
He's the longest tenured, most winning coach in Eagles history. We had him when he was just a no-name quarterbacks coach coming out of Green Bay. Nobody knew who the hell he was. I feel he's a better coach today than he was then. He's more open to suggestion in the players than he was then. And listen, I don't care where you are. Eventually, you just fatigue out, right? So he was here, 13, 14 years?
Right.
Eventually, you just get, and we called it Andy fatigue. But if I were to pick one that was the best, it's got to be Andy, who someday will wear a gold jacket and be enshrined in Canton someday. I love the Kelsey podcast. I can't get enough of those brothers. I'm the oldest of 4 boys myself, so having brothers is something that's near and dear to my heart. I'm a very loyal listener to their podcast because every time I hear them talk, and I do feel like it's me and my brothers sitting at the kitchen table on a random Saturday, just breaking each other's balls, and that's my family, right? If we're not making fun of you, we don't like you. If you're making fun of you, we love you. So
yeah, I thought the best take was right from the very beginning when Jason said, like, just bear with me, people. This is my first podcast, but I'm going to get better at this.
Yeah.
He had every ounce in it. It was, and that just goes to show you how genuine and authentic those guys are.
Well, speaking of genuine and authentic, listen, there's a lot of players, especially nowadays, after the hype, after the thrill of Sundays, after being the star, after being sought out for your autograph, after, everything that comes with the fame, they enter into retirement. And some people adjust well and some people don't. And, there's certain players like Kelsey, Jason in particular, who really have set himself up to do whatever he wants after football. You want to run for mayor of Philadelphia? You're going to win. You don't need any experience. You want to go into broadcasting? We saw him on, what was that, Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football? He was on the Prime broadcast. It was Thursday night.
Oh, yeah. My partner, Colin, went out to an NFL camp and sat with him. 15 guys in the NFL. He sat with Jason. He was the man.
So I mean, Jason has his pick, earned it, and he worked for it. He has his pick of whatever he wants, whatever his heart desires after football, or just stay in Philadelphia and just be the most beloved Philadelphia figure in Philadelphia sports history. I was thinking about this the other day. Like I said a while back, Jason Kelsey kind of become this generation's Brian Dawkins, and I can say with absolute certainty at this point right now, he has surpassed.
Well, it's funny, because we were polling people at the tailgate favorite Eagle, right? And there was like 7 guys that got interviewed. You said Eric Allen, and not one person said Brian Dawkins. Like, it's not the greatest Eagle, it's the favorite Eagle, and there's a lot of fan favorites. But if you had to take a stab at the next statue outside of Lincoln Financial Field, who would that be?
It's either going to be Dawk or it's going to be Kelson. I think it's going to be Kelson. I can imagine a Mummers outfit, podium, slamming, just screaming. I mean, that's the statue. I can't. If you're going to put a Kelsey statue, I can't imagine any other way. And actually, just recently, last week, I finally watched the Kelsey documentary, and I saw how he still had the Mummers outfit, and you could tell he just wants to wear it one more time. And I just pray, not only for my own selfish reasons as an Eagles fan, or every Eagles fan is praying for that, but I need to see that guy ride off into whatever sunset. He's not going to ride off. He's going to turn right back around and come home because Philadelphia is his home. But I need that guy's football career to end with him wearing that outfit one more damn time. Just one more time.
Do you think, God bless the guy, right? An ultimate warrior, honestly. The fact that he still suits up every Sunday. And that let's talk about the tush push real quick. I know we got about 5-10 minutes here. The tush push, the brotherly shove, whatever the hell you want to call it. That play is unbelievable, right? And it's story-esque, but at the same time, how much of a beating? Does anybody talk about how much of a beating Jason Kelsey takes during that play? Like, there's oftentimes, dude, he gets out of that pile, and you can just see, like, oh my God, like, how many more tush pushes does this guy have in him?
I think by design, it's not meant to be that physically harming. It's a matter of leverage. It's just a matter of getting lower than the other guy. What it feels like to have 300-pound defensive tackles lying on top of you and getting squished as a bigger man, I'll never know. But I would imagine that's the major beating that you take, is just people falling on top of you, because Jason's job is just to get low and push. So I'd rather him doing that at this point in his career. How many more times can you bang your head against somebody else's helmet? How many times can you hit your head on the ground? How many times? That's got to be worse. Even those little ticky-tacky little headshots are accumulating up. I'd almost rather see him do the tush push, because I know he's just submarine. The only thing that's going to happen is he gets smushed a little bit. It's uncomfortable. You got guys' junk in your face. You know what I mean? You smell somebody's butt. You know what I mean? Somebody's down there poking at you. What's the worst that can happen down there?
Now you have obviously a massive amount of respect for the Kelsey brothers, Jason Kelsey. You have a massive amount of respect for Andy Reid. As just a true, a fan that bleeds green like myself. Like what you get up for this game, Monday Night Football against KC, and I think at the end of the day, these guys have our number, right? So like, talk to me. What are your thoughts going into Monday night? And then at the end of the day, give us kind of like what your outlook looks like for the rest of the season, dude.
the Andy Reid coming off of a bye week is a real thing. You give Andy Reid 2 weeks to formulate up how he's going to attack an opposing team, and it usually, percentage-wise, works out phenomenal for him. But I know Nick Sirianni's team, and I know Jalen Hurts. And Jalen's got a little bit of Jordan in him, where he will not necessarily manufacture disrespect because a lot of it's sitting right there in front of him. But I can't help but look back to the Dolphins game, and it was Jalen versus Tua. If you don't think Jalen Hurts took that personally, like Jordan would take any sort of slight personally and use that as motivation. Hell, let's not forget in the offseason that by accident, it wasn't on purpose, by accident, during a rookie singing, which was their hazing, I'm using hazing very lightly, hazing situation, it was discovered that Jalen Hurts' lock screen was him with Kansas City confetti falling over him. That wasn't for the media. He didn't flaunt that out there. But think about how many times you unlock your phone in any given day. Think about that. 100?
I don't want to.
Probably 100. Maybe even more. Every day, multiple times a day, that dude's reminded of a failure. Because not winning the Super Bowl was a failure. And I really think this Eagles team, they've shown you by beating they've shown you by beating the Dolphins that they are capable of beating anybody. They showed you by losing to the Jets that they're capable of losing to anybody. But what is always kind of, you eyeball it, and they always either play up or play down to their competition. I have the absolute rock-hard faith that this team will be up for this game. This team takes this game personally. It's easy being Super Bowl champions. We weren't. We sucked the next year, right? You couldn't get motivated. You couldn't get up for the game. New norm, my ass. You couldn't get up for any games. Fat dogs run slower. This Eagles team is a pack of hungry dogs that reminds you of 2017. Even worse, because they were there and they lost it. And I was at that Super Bowl Eagles after party. I was there. I saw their faces. I talked to the players. I'm not trying to brag right now, but I was there. I saw it. This team is more motivated to go back and win this goddamn thing than you have any friggin' idea. They obsess with it. They take it 1 week at a time. Nick Sirianni preaches that. But if you think that any of those players that took that slippery ass field last year are satisfied with going home with a second place, good for nothing trophy, and they're not after it 100% this year, you are fooling themselves. I predict a victory on Monday night.
Yeah.
Whether Taylor Swift is in the stands, whether she's suited up to play ball, whether Andy Reid's got 3 weeks to prepare, whether Travis Kelce is there, Mahomes is hell, I don't care. This Eagles team took this game. I know Nick Sirianni's like, it's no big deal in the presser that he did. No, it is a big deal. Don't let them fool you. They're motivated, and they are going to win this game.
Let's go, EROCK. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm getting fired up.
It took you 30 minutes. There you go. That's the energy I was looking for.
I'm still getting over being sick from the Dallas game, so I'm trying over here.
All right, dude. That was good stuff. Before we wrap up, I got one bone to pick with you. I don't know you too well, but it's just some tough love. So your favorite cheesesteak in the city is Angelo's, but you're throwing provolone cheese on that puppy. Provolone cheese. Yeah. Talk to us about that real quick.
Well, first of all, I got a bone to pick with you. Everybody else, cheesesteak shames people into violations, or you can't have it with this, or you can't have it with that. I've been confronted with this question time and time again, and my answer is I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what you put on it. I don't give. Do you like it? Do you find it good? Does it hit the spot? Does it hit your taste buds? Then eat it however the hell you want. I do not give a two single shits how you prepare your cheesesteak. I like provolone. I'll take it a step further. I like mushrooms on my cheesesteak.
Hell yeah, brother.
Sometimes, occasionally, I'm in the mood for California style, which is lettuce and tomato and fucking mayonnaise. That's right. You heard it. I put fucking mayonnaise on a cheesesteak every once in a while.
Oh my God. Danny and Angelo said the same exact thing. I'm gonna butt those two videos up together, dude. Hilarious.
fucking deal with it. It's
One-
personal preference. There is no violate. That's why they call things taste. You have a taste in automobiles. You have a taste in clothing. You have a taste. I don't have a taste in hairstyles, but you have a taste in hairstyle, right? That's why they call it taste, because everybody's taste is different. And as long as we're on board with the cheesesteak, who gives a shit how they eat it, as long as they enjoy it? You do you, Philadelphia.
Well, there
Don't
you go,
let anybody
Samboners. It
tell
only
you
took them
different.
28 minutes to wake up, but the EROCK has arrived, baby. That's good stuff, man. Can't thank you enough for jumping on. That was a ton of fun. Before we go, man, give the fans a plug. Where can they find you? What are you up to next? Give your floor is yours, brother.
Well, you can find me on pretty much all socials with the same handle, EROCK_Eagles. I am slowly, gonna spoil it here on your show, but Instagram within the next 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm gonna make a celebration about it and thank the fans and maybe do an autograph giveaway of an Eagles player. I don't know. I don't have a plan yet, but in the next couple weeks, Instagram will take over as my number one platform of all time. And I am excited about it. It's the focus of my content right now. I love doing the voiceover vids. I love doing the goofy vids. I feel like, ever since YouTube was my home back in the days when you could create a 10-minute video and people would still watch it. Nowadays, you can't do that shit anymore. So you have to condense it to, under 60 seconds, as you well know.
Yeah.
And I found a wonderful home out there in Instagram and watching your content as well. Absolutely phenomenal. So you can find me, EROCK_Eagles there. I'm partnered up with Philly Sports Trips. I got to tell you, the best travel group, because I've traveled with others, the best travel group that you can go to. Vince Rizzuto owns it. He's a family man. He caters to your needs. He makes exceptions for everybody. So one of my biggest beefs was, certain people, if you weren't flying and staying in the hotel and doing this and doing the entire package, you weren't worth their time. Vince makes everybody worth their time. So if Philly Sports Trips is traveling to a town near you, I highly encourage you to look them up, look up their tailgate, because they'll sell you just a tailgate pass. If you already got a game ticket, if you don't need a hotel, you're staying at a buddy's house, just dial up my man Vince. He will take good care of you. And my last trip of the year, the first time this is ever happening, man. This is big for me. I'm going to Dallas. First time. I'm going to Jerry World. I'm going to be in the Death Star, nest of cockroaches. I'm skeeved out just talking about it. It gives me being around all those cockroach people. But I'm excited to get down there and hopefully see the Eagles sweep the Dallas Cowboys, which will absolutely 100% secure the fact that the road to the Super Bowl goes through Philadelphia. If you want that Lombardi, you got to come through us first.
There you have it, Samboners. The great and mighty EROCK. Appreciate you coming on, brother.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much. It was great meeting you in person at the tailgate. I can't wait to throw another banger so I can attend. And thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, Samboner out. Well, there you have it, Samboners. The mighty EROCK. What a great dude. An absolute, unbelievable ambassador of the game, an unbelievable ambassador of the Philadelphia Eagles. A true Samboner at heart. He dropped the Sambone on an away game in Atlanta with our good friend, Dustin Troxel. Shout out to Trox. Trox, let me know when you want to play some golf because your game sucks. And you got nothing on me, pal. But, just a quick, big appreciation to the team at Not For Long Media for producing the show. Jack in the back, Colin, continue to do great things here at Not For Long Media. Shout out to our sponsors, the original Fudge Kitchen, shipping fudge all over the country. You know the deal by now. The holiday season is alive and well. Great time to get your Fudge game on. Support the Fudge Kitchen. Support the Not For Long Media team and support the Samboner Show. Another quick shout out to our good friends at Verona Pizza in Maple Glen, PA. Mo and Vince holding it down strong here in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. The cheesesteaks, the chicken cheesesteaks, the pizza, it's all lit. It's all fire. Get yourself to Verona. And last but not least, good shout out to our good friends Pete and Gus from Pete's Famous Pizza and Mustaki authentic gyros. God, Pete's Famous Pizza. We were going to go to Pete's Famous Pizza the other night on the way down to the Sixers game, and unfortunately it took us fucking 2 hours to get to the game, so we couldn't stop right there in Logan Square because it's very conveniently located coming off of 676. You get off there, exit 24, boom, like 21st Street. Pete's Famous Pizza, chicken cheesesteaks. Their pizza's unbelievable, doing great things there. And then Mustaki's authentic gyros. I'm sorry. It's not gyros. All these years I was calling them a gyro. It's a silent G. It's a gyro right there in Logan Square as well. Right over in Fishtown. It's their new location. If you're into Greek, like honestly, you like a good Greek gyro, lamb, chicken, dude, I'm telling you, not because they support the show. You got to get over there and get one of these gyros. And the Greek pizza that they're slinging over there, it might be better, Pete. The Mustaki authentic gyro pizza might be better than Pete's Famous Pizza. Riddle me that, folks. Riddle me that. But again, appreciate all the love and support. We're firing on all cylinders here at the Samboner Show. Been nothing but a ton of fun. Big weekend on tap as we look into Week 11 of the NFL. Your Philadelphia Eagles, your Kansas City Chiefs, Monday Night Football, Andy Reid. Oh, baby, let's go. Let's get fired up, Samboners. Appreciate you tuning in. That's it. Samboner out.
Pop that Sambone, and baby, it's on. Dropping